Welcome to episode 16 of today's Candor. I'm your host, Barika. Thank you so much, as always, for taking the time to tune in. In this episode, I'm discussing the fumbling, the mishandling of good and genuine people. And then, of course, there's the other side to it if you feel like you are being fumbled or mishandled. Let's go ahead and get right into it. So, in this episode, I want to discuss both sides of it because it's something that I'm seeing more often than not. I'm seeing it in abundance, and I'm just like, what do we have here? So, I'd like to know, not that I'm ever going to understand it or agree with it, absolutely not, but I'd like to know the thought process behind fumbling good people, genuine people who are just kind-hearted, are there for you, have your best interests at heart. Is it a trauma response? Is it you've been hurt so much you don't know what to do? Is it that you're numb in that space and you can't come back from it? Whatever the case may be, you have to work on it or not. But then it'll cause an issue in every type of relationship that you have. Intimate relationships, your friendships, loved ones, family members, colleagues, acquaintances, the workplace, whatever the case may be. You can't go through life like that. It's miserable. And so you cannot continue to place the blame either. Hold yourself accountable. If you feel like this is something that's a pattern, if you've seen that this is something that's becoming habitual, you have to be able to take a step back. I often talk about self-evaluation and just being able to look in the mirror and say, hey, am I the issue? And maybe not someone else. But if you feel like you are constantly fumbling good people, or even if it's not constant, but you find that it is something that you've noticed in yourself, stop doing it. Stop fumbling good people. Good, genuine people are so hard to come by. So hard. And it's like those people who do that, those people who mishandle, those kind people, those people who have those wholesome hearts, just caring and loving to no end. The people who mishandle those type of people, they know exactly what they're doing, but they can't pull themselves away. Once again, whether it's just a pattern and they haven't sat down to say, what am I doing? Is it me? You're scared to let somebody in. You're scared to become vulnerable. Excuse me. But you then can't turn around and say, why is nobody here for me? Why does nobody have my back? Why does nobody have my best interests at heart? When I really need somebody, why is nobody down for the ride? But if you keep turning away people, and I don't know about anybody else, but like I said, good and genuine people they are hard to come by. They're once in a blue moon. People who don't want anything in return. They just love you for you. It's unconditional. Whatever the type of connection is, it's just unconditional. And they're just like, hey, I got you. You're not going to meet people like that. Not on a regular. So when you do, you better hold on to those people. Continue to have that connection with those type of people. Their mind is wired differently. They see you differently. And when you keep hurting people like that, they eventually exit from your life. They're gone. And sometimes forever. Sometimes there is no comeback. Sometimes there is no, hey, I can give you another chance. Because you might have done too much damage already. And some people are not willing to put up with that a second, third, fourth, fifth time and what have you. Stop throwing people out the window. Stop acting like people are disposable. It's hurtful. It's not nice. It's not fair. And then think about the other side. So if you are a person who continues to be or has been fumbled, mishandled, think about how that makes you feel. How do you get out of something, get away from someone who's making you feel that way? But don't continue to allow it. There's no point. My mother always said you can do bad by yourself. And once again, that's not even about being in a relationship with someone. That's just any kind of connection. You can do bad by yourself. So I don't need you to bring me any foolery. I don't need you to bring it to me because the world, just the everyday grind that we're in, the everyday just having to deal with whatever we have in our personal world. And then if you're going to work or if you're self-employed, whatever the case may be, life is going to throw its obstacles at you. So you don't need somebody or people in your world who don't know how to handle you. So when you get the people who they want to take you for granted, take advantage of you, try to use you up, you got to go. Go let that person do that with somebody else on somebody else's time, because you don't get it back. There's no need. And even though it's difficult, it is so difficult. I will not sit here and play like it's easy. It is so difficult to try to walk away from somebody you've been connected with so long, whether it's best friends, a significant other, just whatever the case may be, a family member that you've been tight with forever. It is so difficult to have to pull away that type of connection or just break that bond. And it may be that you're not necessarily cutting the person off, but you have to cut that type of connection off. So it's like, hey, we can still, whatever, we can still chat every now and then. It might have been something where you felt like the person didn't disrespect you. It might have been, something more slight. But whatever the case, sometimes you just can't continue that same type of connection with people who mishandle you, because it's going to drain you. It's going to stress you, and you all know what stress does. It's different for everyone, but it's not good for anyone. So, but those of you who are out here continuously mistreating, mishandling, not reciprocating, and then you turn around like, man, that's the best thing I ever had. Now, like, especially that part I am going to say, especially in an intimate relationship where you're like, that's the best, he or she was the best thing I ever had. They changed my life. They were the best thing that's ever happened to me. Something along those lines. But you have to lose the person to realize it. I'm not understanding the math. That is not 1 and 1 equals 2 to me. What's the point? So you have to lose the person to figure out, man, they were really good to me. They really had my back. Now you sitting up crying, dying, doing all this mess because you messed up. Nobody's coming to save you. You can't keep treating people any kind of how and way and thinking they're going to continue to put up with your mess and your foolery. It's absolute nonsense. And then get mad when somebody tells you about yourself. I'm not understanding. And I'm keeping this one this is going to be real brief today, because it is what it is. Stop mishandling folks. Stop treating people like they are just disposable and you can just, I'm going to treat you like this today and then tomorrow everything is everything. No, it's not. You don't get to pick and choose and be moody with me, because I'm going to call you out and tell you that you're moody. I don't do moody folks. We all have a bad day here and there. But when you up and down, hot and cold, your hind parts out over there that way. Don't allow it. Don't allow it. Those of you who know your heart and know who you are, don't deal with trifling folks. Don't let them keep mishandling you. Let them go do that with somebody who will either tolerate it, and you go and be around like-minded people. We're keeping it brief today because straight and to the point, don't be mishandled. So look, if you are if you're one of those who are mishandling people, stop. Because you're damaging people, you're hurting people. In some cases, it's traumatizing them, depending on, how extreme it was, or just what they've been through in the past. Don't damage a person. If you feel like you're not good for that person, or you can't be good to them or give them what they need, no matter what the connection is, then you need to be big enough to have a conversation and say, hey, I don't want to hurt you. I don't want to keep mishandling you. I don't want to do this. So have a conversation, be an adult and go. But for those of you who are being mishandled and you have a good heart and you're trying to figure out, why is this happening to me? Don't even sit there and try to absorb that other person's foolishness. Once you have some conversations and communication with them and they still can't figure it out, they got to go, no matter what the connection. And even if it's not about cutting off somebody 110%, do yourself a favor and just say, hey, There needs to be some boundaries. But if you know you're a good person and you know you're a genuine person, like I said, genuine people are so hard to come by who just want to see you do well and just be there for you and have your back. Don't mishandle me. Don't mishandle me. That's because I'm going to say it just like that. And if I need to sit and explain myself and you don't think you've been mishandling me, then you just haven't been paying attention. And I highly doubt I'm going to sit here and explain. So it's tough. It is a tough process if you're one of those people who has been fumbled. But just know, the universe sees it all. Just know. So with that being said, continue to follow, like, and share the podcast. It is on all podcast platforms. You name it: Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Pandora, Podbean, Amazon Music, and on. So get into it. Continue to follow, like, and share. And in the meantime, stay safe and stay candid.